Hello and welcome to the Self-Unemployed podcast. Now, this is just a clip from the first episode where Drew and I discuss the 4 stages of building wealth and becoming self-unemployed. If you want to listen to the full episode, check out the website in the description below. So I've sort of identified 4 phases of wealth. Now, they may not be like phases where, one ends, the other starts, but they're more like identities. And I think self-awareness is really important if you want to sort of progress, because you need to know, in order to move forward, you need to know where you are. So there's these kind of 4 very broad categories where I think everybody who wants to build wealth will fall into one of these categories. So I've sort of named them. First of all, to stop money working against you. Second of all, start money working for you. Oh, my phone's ringing. Why can't I?
Oh no.
Yeah,
Colin,
don't worry.
rule number 1.
Yeah, rule number 1, you're right. So I'm just going to switch this off. Hang on. Sorry about this. I'll start that section again. So yeah, if you are
That's all right.
watching the live
Can I
stream,
introduce you to that section?
yeah, sure. Yeah, you ask me. So what are these 4 phases or something like that? Yeah. Let me just find airplane mode. There we go. It's the first episode. I'm still an amateur. I know you're a professional TV guy. We'll get into that a bit later, but I'm not. But like I said, if you're watching the live stream, this is the behind the scenes. That's the extra you get for being on that list that you should be on if you're watching this. Otherwise, someone shared the link with you illegally.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So Drew, you asked me a question.
Yeah, so of course I wanted to just quickly trail back to what you were saying about investing time and educating yourselves. It's one of those things that I think is important. And I think it's very similar, me with you. And I think it's something that you very much are talking about is financial literacy and education in that. It's not something you need to necessarily go to uni for and study. This is something you can do yourself. All you've got to do is show a willingness to want to do it. And also then when you're at that point, is figuring out where you are and what step you are. And with that in mind, I'd love for you to talk about the steps that you've created in your self-unemployed list to talk through what it is you think those steps are.
Yeah, well, just before I do that, you mentioned going to university and things, and I was saying how it's about kind of the level of financial education is really poor, I think, and I don't really think there is any course or any university degree that teaches this. That teaches personal finance. They teach you how to do a job or how to get skills that will be useful to be employed, but they don't teach you how to get your finances into a situation where you can be self-unemployed or financially independent. I just want to quickly say thank you so much for watching or listening. If you are watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and a subscribe and all that, and subscribe to the podcast, leave us a review. All those things are super useful. But if you like what you're hearing and you'd like to become self-unemployed yourself, then I'd really like to build a community. And the way that I'm doing that is I've got a free mailing list that you can join. And when we record these episodes, they're going to be put out as live streams. So you'll get to see a little bit behind the scenes. You'll get to see the episodes before they go out on the main channel and on the podcast. And you'll get to interact with us as we're recording. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, head on over to the website, links in the description, and I look forward to chatting with you as we record future episodes. So yeah, those 4 phases, which I think are important for self-awareness, to know where you are. In reality, when you go through the journey, or when people go through the journey, that they'll overlap and you'll jump back and things. But let me go through them first of all, so you know what they are. The first phase is to stop money working against you if you've got debts and things like that. The second stage is to start money working for you by getting started with investing in a small way to start with. And then the third phase is where I think people really build wealth. And that's where you take on a bit more risk. Now that might sound dangerous, and it kind of is, but you can mitigate that kind of risk by really knowing what you're doing. So phase 3 is about really educating yourself on the type of investing that you want to do and becoming like an expert on it. And then that's where you really build wealth. And then phase 4 is when you've sort of achieved the self-unemployment or financial independence. And then you're going to want to start thinking less about growing your wealth, but protecting it, reducing your leverage if you do have some debts. Sorry, I keep adjusting my earbuds, but they keep wobbling out. Yeah, so phase 4 is about protecting your wealth, and making sure it is a strong foundation. But also, what are you going to do with all that time that you've got? How are you then going to use that, not just to be lazy and spend it all on yourself, but to be a valuable citizen? Because this is all about enabling ourselves to be more valuable to the people around us and to society in general, more valuable human beings, and leaving the world in a better place than how we found it. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and just to add on top of that, I think you're so correct, because as you can tell with the statistics of people that win the lottery, you can come into loads of money and want to do a million things, but if you miss step 1 and step 2, I mean, you're just going to end up, as it's proven statistically, to lose all of those funds, even when you're trying to help loads of people. And those 2 steps are super vital to not only financial security, but to your self-worth and what you're bringing to the table for you and your family.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people, even just regular people, when they retire, they very quickly get bored and depressed, and then sometimes their health can decline very rapidly. But I heard a statistic, I'm not sure if it's true, I might be misquoting this, but I heard a statistic that 85% of Premier League footballers file for bankruptcy within 5 years of retiring. Now that seems mad, that may not be right, but the point is, I'm sure the number is much higher than among the average population of people who earn a lot less, who are forced to kind of keep working a long time. But the point is, people who kind of get a lot of cash quickly, but don't know about how to invest, they often squander it, because cash is like money. It's like fuel in the tank. Once it's gone, it's gone. Whereas this is all about investing. Is like planting trees, which will bear fruit every year. So
and also to speak on that, by the way, similarly to investing, when it comes to footballers, a lot of footballers talk about how obviously they're earning hundreds of thousands a week. When they retire from football in their 30s, they often find that and I've read a lot of books on this from previous footballers, that their self-worth and what they're working towards almost immediately goes out the window. And that falls down as well to your steps. Is, part of having lots of money is not only I can buy nice things, but what am I going to do with that money? And what is my next plan? There's a reason why there's billionaires in this world. They could have stopped at millionaires, but they have to keep moving forward. You have to have a why.
Thank you for watching. Now, this was just a clip from the full episode of the Self-Unemployed podcast. If you're interested in growing your wealth, becoming financially free, and becoming self-unemployed, then you can sign up for notifications about the podcast at our website. Links in the description. We've got loads of really good guests investing in all sorts of ways, especially in property. So join us, check out the show, and I'll see you soon.